going to teach you how to look at it. So Nyaya is a way of looking at things in terms of logic and reasoning. Sankhya is another beautiful system which talks about the relation between the Prakriti and Purush, the ultimate sources of our existence. That is the masculine and feminine, how they combine and form the existence we see today. So these are a few darshanas. Now, where do you see Ayurveda in this? You don't see it, right? You are looking for it. But Ayurveda actually comes as an Upaveda of Atharva Veda. So all the teachings of Ayurveda are in accordance to Atharva Veda. Similarly, Samaveda has a subsection called Gandharva Veda, which includes all music and arts. Yajurveda has a Upaveda called Dhanurveda. Dhanurveda is the archery skills in combat, military skills. And Rigveda has the Upaveda, which is Arthashastra. So Chanakya's Arthashastra is commonly heard of by many. So this is called the Chaturdasha Vidyasthana. If you count, there are 14 elements to knowledge. Similar to this, we have Chatushashti Kalas, which are the 64 arts in India. So this is just a brief intro to where Ayurveda fits into this whole system and how we can understand Indic knowledge better by seeing the whole, looking at it in a broad perspective. So the same thing, oral preservation. This is where we are at right now. When you're learning Gita and memorizing, you're at Shiksha, phonetics, pronunciation. This is where your focus is. And later you can always advance to next levels like Jyotish, Kalpa, and Rukta. This is what Indian knowledge system means. You have literary, which means they are written, and non-literary, which are oral traditions. Oral traditions are like something which your grandmother would have taught you, some special dish, cooking something, and maybe some embroidery techniques, which you didn't really read about in a book, but your parents or grandparents just passed it on to you. Maybe pottery, like basically traditional family occupations that used to exist in ancient India, and even today, to some extent, they do. Then, when we look at Sanatana Dharma, there are four Vidyasthanas, which include the 14 knowledge areas that we just looked at. And there are works of several religious leaders. For example, Adi Shankaracharya is one of them. He has written so many works that help us understand the essence of this science better. And then we have other Sanatana Dharma branches include health, wellness, and psychology. This is where you can think that Ayurveda would fit in, right? Where else do you think Ayurveda can fit in? Maybe in the oral traditions, food and life practices. And then in the 14 Vidyasthana, the Upaveda of Atharva Veda. And maybe even in the other dharmic traditions like Buddhism, you do have a concept of meditation. And Ayurveda does talk about mind and how to treat mental illness. So these are some ways you can find that Ayurveda fits into any part of this, and it's not really a section or a chart that you have to memorize. Rather, every subject here is intertwined with the other ones. And why should we learn ancient knowledge? This is very important because we need to ask ourselves, what is our identity? What's our culture? And how can we protect this received wisdom? When I was young, I was just like you. I was studying in Austin. I used to go to Harmony School. And I used to have a lot of questions about my culture. I was not confident about my identity. I used to feel very hesitant to eat in front of everyone because my food looked different. My food smelled different. And these differences made me very uncomfortable. And I never had the confidence because I didn't know answers to many questions. So that's when I realized that if I know the answers, I'll of course feel confident and happy to answer anybody who asks me, and at least I'll be able to answer it to myself, that I know what I'm doing this for, I know why I'm doing it. So that is basically why I chose this path of studying Ayurveda. So what I realized from my experience is, in the West, we lack the Indic knowledge. I'm sure many of you have not in depth studied about what is Indian knowledge, and probably this is the first time you're even hearing this. All of this would have been very overwhelming as an introduction, but that is totally understandable because in the West, We are not shown this side of Indian knowledge. What maybe what comes to people's mind usually is like the caste system, or India has some poverty issues, or some political corruption. These are the three things which come to people's mind: pollution, corruption, and caste. But this is not India, and this is the India that we don't know of, is still actually being researched upon, and the government of India also has a separate division called IKS. If you search online, you'll get it. Indian knowledge system, where they encourage research on Indian knowledge. This is a recent start by the government also. So this is coming back to the surface, though it was in the deep villages of India, this was still known to people. It's coming back on the surface. In the East, what I observed is people lack the communication skills and how to express the Indic knowledge in a way that's understandable to everybody. But what is common in the West and the East is that there's a lack of rootedness in the Indic thought process. As we go through today's presentation, we'll come to understand a holistic way of looking at life. This is not going to be a teaching for you, more it's going to be how to change our thought process, how to change our way of looking at life in a way that is sustainable, in a way that we feel confident and we don't feel hesitant about anything related to Indic knowledge. So now we look into the introduction to Ayurveda. First, we've gone through all the 14 Vidyasthanas and the knowledge that's embodied in India over the thousands of years, and Ayurveda being a small bit of this knowledge. Inside Ayurveda also, there are so many things. This is just one of the books that are there in Ayurveda. If you open this, it's full of Sanskrit literature. You can see it, right? So this may be really scary compared to your Bhagavad Gita. It has only 700 shlokas. This has almost 10,000 shlokas. So we studied around 50 textbooks like that. This is just one of them that I brought with me. It weighs about 5 pounds. It's important in the airport. So this is called Ashtanga Hridaya. Ashtanga Hridaya is written by Acharya. It's the most recent one. There are so many books like this. One is Charaka Samhita, which talks about internal medicine in detail. And it really gives you the Sankhya philosophy perspective, like that there is a Prakriti, there is a Purusha, there's an Atma, there's a Sharira, and all of how that descends and how we are composed of both the soul and the body. And this is what you read in Sankhya Yoga, right? In chapter 2. Remember chapter 2, you just read it now, right? So this is the Ashtanga Hridaya is kind of a summary taken with only the important points from Charaka Samhita. And Sushrita Samhita, on the other hand, which has got more popularity, is a surgical textbook on Ayurveda. The interesting thing we need to know is all of these textbooks talk about every concept. But the thing is, Ashtanga Hridaya is seen that it's a summary, and Sushrita is seen as a surgeon. Charaka is seen as an internal medicine doctor. But actually, they talk about all this. Even Charaka talks about surgery a little bit. And he says that whenever you get surgical cases, you need to refer them to Sushrita. He has better expertise in this field than I do. So he admits that as well. Then we look at what is Ayurveda. What do you think Ayurveda is? Anyone you want to give it a try?
Maybe like medicine and study of like the body.
Okay, the study of the body, medicine, body.
Maybe the medicine
These are the plant-based medicine, the medicine that doesn't make you sick, so no side effects. It's the same thing.
This the study, right?
Somebody with the wrong study of life. Ayusha Sambandhi Veda Ayurveda. So Putin mentioned that Ayurveda is plant-based medicine. So that is not correct actually. Ayurveda has mineral-based medicine, plant-based medicine, and animal-based medicine. So it has all three. And someone also mentioned Ayurveda is medicine. Ayurveda is not only medicine. It has both preventive care and treatment-based medicines. Here it says Ayusha Sambandhi Veda Ayurveda iti. Ayusha Palakam Vedam Upavedam Atharvanaha. The same thing we talked about. It is an Upaveda of Atharva Veda. It's a section of Atharva Veda. So what is life? Anybody except these two? Uma. How do you know if you're alive? Learn the concise stuff. You're breathing and your body, your heart keeps pumping. He told us the science of life. How do you know that you're alive? You're breathing. You want to take from the past. All of you are telling me how do you know if somebody is alive, but you're not telling me what is life. Life is like a process of the following thing. It gave me a Bhagavad Gita perspective of life. So that is the purpose of life according to what's her name? Sriprada's purpose of life, doing your duty. But according to Ayurveda, actually nobody answered the question. You didn't answer what is life. You answered how do you know if you're alive? What is the purpose of life? But in Ayurveda, they give you a clear definition. I expect you to memorize this shloka by the first time I read it. Listen carefully. Who's going to do it? Who can challenge? Who would read? Listen carefully. शरीरेन्द्रिय सत्त्वात्म संयोगो धारि जीवितम. Let me do half. It's going to be easy. Try it. Try not to read. शरीरेन्द्रिय सत्त्वात्म संयोगो धारि जीवितम.
शरीरेन्द्रिय सत्त्वात्म संयोगो धारि जीवितम्.
It's okay. I don't want to share this point. I'm already in this point. So it will read the whole shloka. Sharirendriya sattvatma sanyogo dhari jeevitam nityagashanubandhascha paryayatayuruchyate. So here Ayu means Sharira, the body, Indriya, all the sense organs, Sattva, the mind, and the Atma, the soul. All of these, when they're together, joined together, that is what is life. What happens if we take out the Atma? It's a dead body, right? If we take out the body, a ghost. No, body, not just the flesh. I mean the whole body. Ghost. So you have to have all four for life to exist. And what is this life? It is Nityaga. It's eternal, it's continuous. And life is not something that goes away. You learned about the Atma, right? Consciousness never it doesn't die. Can anyone chant the shloka Nainan Chindanti? New batch now.
Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakah, nachaivana, nachainam svedayutyapah, nasohayati marusa.
It cannot soak into water. It can't be dried. It's forever. It's eternal. No one can change or alter the Atma. It's pure. Now let's look at what the purpose of Ayurveda is. And you are right. Ayu kamayamanena dharmartha sukha sadhanam ayurvedopadesheshu vidheya paramadraha. Here it says the aims of life are dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. So all this is common to every science actually, not just Ayurveda. Even the aims of any Shastra you look at, this is what the essence is of obtaining the Purusharthas. Do you know how Ayurveda came to existence? Nobody from the previous years is here. Okay, basically, there were rishis that were meditating a lot and praying for the health of every living being, not just humans, but animals too. In Ayurveda, we have Vriksha Ayurveda, Hasta Ayurveda, Ashwa Ayurveda. There is Ayurveda for every animal, for every plant. It's not science for only humans. The rishis or the ancient sages, they had so much compassion. They wished that every living being should be without pain. And that's where it emerged. Out of love and compassion, Ayurveda was born. So this is very interesting to know, because when something is born out of that kindness, it's of course it's a very good thing, right? Science which is born out of kindness sustains. The aims of purpose of Ayurveda is swasthasya swasthirakshanam, atarasya vikara prashanam. So it is preventive medicine and cure. So first, prevention, swasthasya swasthirakshanam, protecting the health of the healthy. That is what is most important. This is an easy shloka. I think you can memorize it now. Swasthasya swasthirakshanam, aturasya vikara prashamanam. Can you try? I'll break it down. Swasthasya swasthirakshanam, आतुरस्य विकारप्रशमनम्. These are the 8 limbs of Ayurveda. Is it visible? Okay. So Ayurveda has 8 limbs. The first one is Kaya. Kaya means internal medicine. And then we have Bala. Bala is pediatrics. Then we have Graha Chikitsa. Graha Chikitsa is psychiatry. And then we have Urdhvanga Chikitsa. Urdhvanga is Shalakritantra for ENT medicine. Shalya Chikitsa. Shalya is actually surgery or the medicine that deals with foreign bodies extraction. Then we have Damshya Chikitsa, which is forensic science, dealing with poison and toxicology. And then we have Jara. Jara is geriatrics, dealing with old people's diseases. Then we have Risha, after diseases related to fertility. So these are 8 branches of Ayurveda. We'll read the shloka. Kaya balagrahordhvanga sharyadamshtrachara vrishan ashtavangani tasyahush chikitsayeshu samshrita. So these are the branches, and this is the Ayurveda corpus. Just like the Vedas have their own branches and limbs, Ayurveda has its own branches. These are the 8 branches. So what is health? This is a state of complete physical, mental, social well-being, not merely the absence of disease. That's according to the WHO. Ayurveda has a really abstract and unique approach to health. It says, Samadosha Samagnischa Samadhatu Malakriyaha Prasannatmendriyamanaha Swastha Ityabhidhiyate. So what this means is Samadosha. What are doshas? This is a really complex topic because it's the essence of Ayurveda. Doshas are basically physiological entities. They have function, but they don't have a particular form. Here, for the sake of presentation, I made them into forms. The first one is Vata. Vata dosha is responsible for creativity. So if you think of Vata, you should think of Brahma, the god of creation, the god who started this life on earth. So that Brahma, that creative force of movement is Vata. Look at Pitta in the middle. Pitta you can think of as Maheshwara, he who destroys all the evil. So Pitta is the one that detoxifies all the waste in our body, and it also metabolizes everything. It's good for digestion. And Kapha is a representation of Lord Vishnu, who preserves the universe. And in our body, Kapha is going to be responsible for nourishment and strength. Kapha essentially gives us immunity when it is normal. These three are present in everybody. Some people have more of Vata, some people have more of Pitta, some people have more of Kapha. If they have more Pitta, they tend to be hot-headed. If they have more Vata, they're agitated, some people leaving. So that's Vata. If they're Kapha, some people are sleeping. So that is Samadosha. But when they're all equal, some people are sitting attentively like Vibhu, just listening. So not distracted. That is Samadosha. He's healthy. Samadosha, Samakri. What is Samakri? Agni is the fire inside us, right? You wanted to say something?
Just wanted to take someone down.
Sama is balance, equilibrium, state of harmony. So Sama Agni is when you're Agni. You have actually 13 types of Agnis in the body. 5 related to the 5 elements. So earth, water, air, fire, and space. So that Parthiva Agni, Jala Agni. So you have specific Agnis for specific Mahabhutas in the body. You also have specific ones for specific tissues of the body, which is 7. And then you have one which is the main Agni, which is responsible for digestion. That is the Jataragni. So you know the shloka Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva? Chant. Analo Bhutva Pranina Umrihamashritaha Pranapana Samayuktaha Pachamyanam Chaturbidham. So it is that Vaishvana Agni, Jataragni is responsible for digestion of all 4 types of food. These are the 7 dhatus we have. Rasa, Rakta, Mamsa, Meda, Asti, Mancha, and Shukra. I won't get into the details, but basically the balance of these tissues in our body says that we're healthy. And then we have Sama Malakriya. So Samadosha, Samadosha, Samadhatu, Malakriya. So all the waste products, this is poop, pee, and sweat. So these 3 things are in balance. Some people have to urinate too many times. They get up in the middle of the night. Some people have diarrhea, some people have constipation. So you see where the imbalance can be, right? So you think for yourself, are you healthy or not? And the most important thing is prasanna atma indriya mana, having that balance between your soul, your mind, and your body and sense organs. That is what is real health. But how did we become inefficient? I'm sure many of you found that you don't have balance in today's life. You're always running around or you feel lazy and not efficient. So this is not to kids only, but sometimes adults feel that way too. There's a big story to why. If you look at the whole, from the time the universe started in Satya Yuga, and then Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Kali Yuga, it says that every time there was a new yuga, the number of years in each yuga reduced it, and the efficiency of the person also reduced. When Krishna, but it was the end of Krishna Avatara, Krishna's age was 125. In Ayurveda, it mentions that every 100 years of a yuga, 1 year of the lifespan reduces. So therefore, 5,000 years of Kali Yuga are over. And that means 50 years of the lifespan from the end of Dwapara Yuga has reduced. So 125 minus 50 is 75. And if you look at today's lifespan, generally, if you look at the statistics, it's 76 years, which is so close to what they mentioned in some of this, 75. So what does that mean? We have less time to do dharma, we have less time for artha, less time for kama and moksha. So in the time we have a more need to be effective. There's a big need to be more effective. This is what is mentioned in Charaka Samhita, the Vimanasthana, 3rd chapter. Yuge yuge dharma padaha kramena hiyate gunapadascha bhutana evam loka praliyate samvatsarashate purne yati samvatsarah kshayam dehi namayushah kale yatra yanmanamishyate. That's basically what I explained in the previous slide. And what happened at the end of Satya Yuga? this is what happened. So some people were really rich and they didn't really utilize their wealth properly. They started eating too much. This is actually mentioned in Janaka Samhita in a chapter, the third chapter of Vimanasthana. It's called Janapadottvamsa, which means the pandemics. So it talks about pandemics and how to protect yourself from pandemics. And this is the origin of all evil in the world, is what Charaka says in this. So here it says a few people who are too rich eat too much. What happens when you eat too much? You become fat, heavy, you can't go anywhere, you become tired. And then that's where laziness starts, alasya. And alasya, sanchay. So you start accumulating things. And because you're lazy, you want to sit in the same place and get everything near you, right? You don't want to move because you're lazy. And then what happens after you accumulate things, like this book is mine. I don't want to give it to anyone. So now I'm attached to this book. And now what? I have one. I want more. So I get greedy. And then from greedy, you become abhitroha. So you start cheating people. So to get that book, I will do anything. I'll make sure Purvi doesn't get it. I'll make sure Uma doesn't get it. So that's what is malice. And then you have falsehood. So then I lie because then I know that Purvi knows that I have it. I may have more, but I tell Purvi, no, I don't have that book. I have only one. I can't give you. So that's where all the bad things start. And this is when Treta Yugam starts. So in Satya Yuga, everyone was truthful. That's why it's called Satya Yuga. And in Treta Yuga, you see Kama, Krodha, Mana, Dvesha, all of these negative qualities come. Can you think of a shloka in the second chapter that's very similar to whatever I said?
हानि रत्योपजायते प्रतन्नराग
ध्यायतो विषयान् पुंसः सङ्गस्तेषुपजायते सङ्गात् सञ्जायते कामः कामः क्रोधोऽभिजायते क्रोधः भवति सम्मोहः सम्मोहः स्मृतिविभ्रमः स्मृतिभ्रंशात् बुद्धिनाशः बुद्धिनाशः प्रणश्यति. So this talks about the whole pathogenesis of evil. So you see, first you want that object, you think about it, you get attached to it, you want more, and you're angry if somebody takes it away from you, and you're delusional when somebody does. And then what happens from being delusional, you lose your memory. You stop thinking about other things, and you're only fixated on that one object. And from that smriti vibhrama, you get buddhinasha. You're not able to discriminate between anything. You lose your sense of intellect and discretion ability. You're only fixated on that one thing, forget everything else. And because of this, you die. Die here doesn't mean that you physically die, but you as a person with human capabilities, your mind is not working anymore. So this is how everything even starts. How does cognitive impairment begin? It starts from contemplating on one of your one object at a time, that you only want this. I want this iPhone so badly. I'll do anything for it. And then you stop thinking about everything else that's important. What is the solution to this? So this is something that has always interested me. This concept of Loka Purusha Samya Siddhanta is not really talked about anywhere in my education actually till 12th grade. I never knew about this. When I first read about it in Ayurveda, it really intrigued me. What Loka Purusha Samya Siddhanta says is the human being is a replica of the universe. Whatever is present in the universe is actually present inside us. Just like there's water in the universe, there's water inside us. There's earth in the universe. There's solid structures. There's solid inside us. There's fire in the universe. We have Agni inside us, right? So this is a concept which helps us see everybody as equal. And when we look at everyone as equal, how can you get angry or greedy at somebody who's nothing but you? So that is nothing but Atma and Atma are the same. And all our goal is common to reach Paramatma, which is nothing but the Loka Purusha Samyavada. This helps us a lot in developing the right mindset so that we never feel these evils like Kama Krodha. And a good shloka for human transformation is taken from the Maha Upanishads. I really suggest that we learn this. That's why we're doing transliteration so that you can read it too. Ayam nija paro vedi. Ganana chetasam. Udara charita namato. Vasudhaiva kutumbakam. Let's chant together. Ayam nija paro vedi ganana chetasam udara charita vasudhaiva kutumbakam. So people who think that he is different and I'm different, she is different and I'm different, they're very small-minded. But who know that the world is a family are really the wise people. This concept will always help us in improving our skills and cognition or anything in life, because this concept gives you confidence. If you think that there's no difference between you and me, there's no fear of anything, because that fear only starts when you see that somebody is different from you. Then we have the Ayurvedic clock. This is a nice timetable that you can keep. This would be really helpful if you take a printout of this and paste it near your in your room or something. What it says is from 6 a.m. till 10 a.m. you have the kapha kala. What is kapha? It's responsible for strength and nourishment, right? That's why I had to give you the background so that you understand the main points. So from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. you have that full of nourishment and strength within you, and because of that you can be more active. You have the choice to exercise, to study, to do many active things, because your body is in a phase of nourishment. From 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. you have a phase of strong pitta, and that is the Agni. So usually you should eat your heaviest meal during this time when the sun is very high in the sky and there's more heat in the atmosphere. You're more capable of digesting well. And from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m., you have the Vata phase, and that is responsible for more creativity. So you should try not to sleep during this time and utilize your creativity, and by doing some work and engaging in conversations, talking about subjects. And from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., you should be in a phase of winding down and trying to find a good time to sleep between between approximately 9 p.m. and 10 p.m. It's a good time to sleep, and have your dinner at this time too, or have it a little bit earlier if possible before sunset. But if that is not possible, try to have it by 7 o'clock. And then 10 p.m. to 2 a.m., we have nature's natural detox. In the body during that time of the night, your body is actually already removing the waste metabolites in the form of the cellular level, you have waste. So all that is going to get removed, and you're going to become clean by morning if you sleep during that time. And then 2 a.m. to 6 a.m., you have the Vata phase. So your body is getting ready to actually evacuate the waste. So you have to have your bowel movement by 5 a.m. When you wake up at that time, your bowel evacuation will be easy if you go to the bathroom during that time. So that is the Ayurvedic clock. And we have a few recipes which help improve cognition. This shloka, I won't read the shloka, but it says Manduka Parni Swarasa. So the juice of Manduka Parni. And then we have Yashti Madhu, the powder of that mixed with milk. And Guduchi including its root and flowers. And we have a special plant called Shanka Pushpi. And the paste of this plant is really good for improving cognition. Ayuf Pradhanyamayanajanani, Balagni Varna Swaravardhanani. These are all the benefits that you get from using this. Medhya Rasayana itself means the therapy that improves your intellect. So that's what Medhya means. It improves your grasping power, your retention power, and recollection. Medhyani Chaitani Rasayanani, Medhya Visheshena cha Shankhapushpi. Shankhapushpi is considered a really good plant. So you can search this online, you will get tons of information about it. People don't necessarily go by its botanical name. Glycyrrhiza glabra, Centella asiatica. Those are too complicated. So better you type the Sanskrit name, you will get tons of information on that. And what is the importance of oral tradition? So we already learned about the 5 elements. The oral tradition encompasses Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apa, Prithvi, and then Oshadhi, Anna, and Purusha. So all of these are elements of the nature which come down to us. So Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Agni, Apaha, Adhya, Prithvi, Prithivya, Oshadhi, Oshadhiyo, Anna, Purusha. So from food, the human is formed. That's why in Ayurveda it says Annam Vrittikaranam Shreshtham. Here it says that because Akasha is closest to the source, Akasha is the first element to be formed. And from there on, you get air. So from space, there's air. From air, there's fire. From fire, water. From water, you have the earth. And from earth element, you get plants. And from plants, food. From food, human. So if you look at all this, the first one to be formed is Akasha. And Akasha is connected to hearing. So from sound, you hear through the space. And from the space, you hear that is the sound. And your ears grasp it. So that's why Vedas are also called Shruti. Shruti is the best way to gain knowledge. And that's why there is this it's called the oral tradition in India. And the power of chanting. If you have good brain power, you can chant better. And if you chant better, you have better brain power. So they're connected. And if you look at Indian languages in general, Sanskrit in particular, we have different letters that touch different areas of our oral cavity. So try to chant ka, kha, ga, gha, ga. So do you feel that you're touching the back of your throat? You feel that your tongue is touching the back. And you feel sometimes there's less air coming out, sometimes there's more air coming out. That's what the alpha prana and maha prana mean. Ka is less air. Kha, you feel more air coming out. You would have experienced this while chanting Bhagavad Gita also. So they're all called kantyaha, gutturals. They're related to your throat. And you have talavya. Talavya, cha, cha, ja, ja. Cha, 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 nya. Try this. So you feel that they're touching somewhere at the soft palate. They're not too much in front, but it's not too behind like cup. So that's why they're called palatals. And then you have the special series called Murdhanya. Murdhanya are called cerebrals, where the tip of your tongue is touching the top of the roof of the palate. So that's like ta, ta, da, ta, na. What this does is this series alone activates your brain. So this is a series that is missing in a lot of Western languages, and it's special in Sanskrit and Indian languages, and that's why it improves your brain and memory power. Then you have dantya or dentals. Ta, tha, da, dha, nya. Ta, tha, da, tha, na. So all of this touches behind the tooth. And we have pa, tha, ba, tha, ma. That touches your lips together, right? So there are sutras for this in Panini called Akuha Visarjaniyanam Kantaha, Ichu Yashanam Taluhu, Ritu Rashanam Murtha, Ritu Lasanam Danta, Niyamangananam Nasikacha. So you hear that sound is nasal. Nyamangana na. And they're all coming from different places in your mouth. Then you have Upu Upadvaniyana Oshtam. That's all touching the lips together. So these are like really special. And if you use all of them, it brightens your senses. Other practices are, which are easy to do and you don't need medicines for them. This is mentioned in Sushruta Samhitam. Satatadhyayanam vadaha paratantravalokanam tadvidyacharya sevacha buddhi medha karo ganaha. Here it mentions satatadhyayanam. So always study, keep on studying Gita. In that Ayurvedic clock, there's no good time or bad time to study Gita. Should study all the time. Like when you're in the bathroom, just keep it on, keep the audio on. It should always be behind your head so that you never forget. And Vada, don't fight, but just debate or discuss with your friends, with other classmates regarding the same shloka. You can do round robin, test each other. Paratantra Avalokana. You should study other branches as well, like Ayurveda and various other things. You'll get a better understanding. You will broaden your understanding of Gita itself by reading other. See, now today you learned that Sankhya Yoga is actually a darshana, and you're already studying it in Bhagavad Gita. And Ayurvedic concepts like the Janapadodvamsa, from where does evil start? It starts from the accumulation of wealth and then eating too much. That whole concept is similar to the concept in Gita, right? You can then draw parallels and improve your understanding. So how do these Medhya Rasayana Dravyas act? How do these cognitive enhancers act? Some are cold in potency, which means they're cooling in nature. Some are hot. The ones that are hot actually activate your sadhaka pitta. Pitta itself has several types, and the sadhaka pitta is responsible for buddhi and medas. So that's why it makes a sadhaka pitta happy, and this improves your grahana shakti. What is grahana? It is grasping power. So Purvi did that. When I chanted Sharirindriya Sattvatma, she immediately chanted it back. That's called Sadhaka Pitta's power, Grahana Shakti. This is really improved by using Guruji, the drug that I referred to before. And then you have cold potency drugs, which are sweet in nature, and they help Tarpaka Kapha. Kapha also has 5 types. Tarpaka Kapha is responsible for nourishing your eyes, your ears, your head in general, all your senses. It improves Dharana Shakti. Dharana Shakti means your capability to retain whatever you learned. So it's not just grasping, but you're able to retain it. And the good drugs for that is Manduka Parni and Yashti Madhu. A good example of Dharana Shakti is when you're able to recollect Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha, that shloka immediately, but you didn't learn it now. But you learned it a few weeks ago, but now you know it. And we know about grasping and retaining. How do we recall better? This is dharana, retaining. Grahana is grasping. How do you recall? Anybody has good tips? How do you recall for an assessment?
Try and learn the meanings well, to kind of follow the meaning.
Okay. He says that you have to recall by knowing the meanings. Consistent practice of the shloka. Good. So Abhyas is a conversation. You're supposed to practice grasping and retaining. So he just 25 words on the slide, grasp, retain, and recall. Smart. Okay, some more.
Continuously listen to the audio.
You could continuously listen to the audio. I also have another advice. It's called Dura Shravana. When you're sitting calmly, try to observe, try to really focus on the sounds that are so far away that you can't hear. This will improve, as we said, listen to the audio. So you don't have to only listen to the audio to improve this skill. Just try to listen when you're sitting quietly. Try to observe sounds that you normally can't hear around you, but they're really far. Maybe the traffic somewhere that's far away from your house, maybe a dog barking. So this helps you improve your hearing faculty. And then you're able to listen to your audios and remember them better. Some basic rules. Brahme Murta Uttishtet Svasthvarakshartham Ayushaha. You should wake up at Brahma Murta, that's 96 minutes before sunrise. That's the best time to study because Vata is active, your creativity is active. And then you should actually go to the restroom and evacuate your bowl. That's something that will really help you clear your brain because many people with constipation don't have good memory because the brain and the gut are really related. There's an entire nervous system within your gut. And so if you retain your memory better, it's because you have a clean gut. If your gut is all filled with waste, you won't be able to think clear. So this is one. And Abhyasa and Vairagya. This helps. Avoid Vegadharana. What is Vegadharana? It's basically controlling the urge to go to the bathroom, controlling the urge to sneeze, cough, hiccup, or yawn, sleep. All of these, there are 13 Vegas. And you should never control these urges, which are physical and natural. And sleeping early before 10, because that is the time period of kapha. Kapha is responsible for good sleep. And taking a bath every day. It's a basic thing, some people don't, but it really helps you to keep your brain fresh. And padabhyanga, if you don't get sleep, try to massage the soles of your feet with a good sesame oil or coconut oil. Tadvidya Sambhasha Buddhi Vardhananam. The best way to enhance your cognition is by talking to your peers and discussing related to the subject, of course. Dura Shravana and Pranayama. These two things, the thing I talked about, hearing far away noises and doing pranayama, regulating your breath. And how do we get better? These are a few more tips. Following the 8 rules of eating, that is eating warm, eating unctuous, eating in a good place where you like, along with your friends, not talking or laughing while eating, not eating too slow, not eating too fast. These are a few of those rules. And then the benefits of bath, and try to avoid hot water on your head. You can maybe bend your head forward and pour cold water if you don't want to put cold water all over your body. But if you put hot water on your head, it impairs your vision and it impairs your strength too, the strength of all your senses. Then we have sleep. So it says here, Nidra Yattam Sukham Dukkham Pushtih Karshyam Bala Balam Rishata Kripata Jnanam Ajnanam Jivita Nacha. Without sleep, there is no life. And without sleep, there is no knowledge. That's what the shloka says. If you want to be happy, healthy, nourished, and fertile, and having full of knowledge, you need to have good sleep. And indriyas. You know the shloka, Yada Samharate Chayam. Samharate Chayam. Indriyam Indriyam Tasya Prajna Pratishthita. So in Ashtanga Tritya, there is a very similar shloka which has a slightly different meaning. It's called Napidaye Indriyani Nachaitanyathilalai. It says that your indriyas or senses must be used properly. You shouldn't pamper your senses, meaning use them too much, and you should not misuse them and use them less. Like you shouldn't just sit in a corner and close your eyes all day. Like in Bhagavad Gita, it says the opposite actually. It says, Yada Samharate Chayam Kurmangani Vasarvajha. You should completely withdraw. But in Ayurveda, it says you should use them in moderation. You should not withdraw them completely, and you should not use them too much either. So it says that balance. In the Bhagavad Gita, in this context, they refer to when you want your mind to be stable and you want to get that sthita prajna lakshanas. You don't want to be wavering, you want to be a meditator. So in that sense, you must always withdraw. But for Ayurveda is a science for a day-to-day person too. So in that sense, not in the sense of yoga, but in the sense of a day-to-day life, you need to be aware that how much time do I want to spend looking at this computer? How much time do I want to spend looking at something which is not healthy for me? Or hearing some music too loud, or using AirPods for too long. So these are the things we can think about. This is the end of the presentation. You have any questions, you can always ask. We'll be there for a few more minutes.
Sriprada will be here for any